Welcome to the walkthrough for Module 4 of the course. Today we're just going to go through some of the functionality that we haven't seen yet in Frontline Cloud, including some of the activities and some of the settings and searches and other things that help make your life easier within Frontline Cloud. So we'll start by logging back into Frontline Cloud. And as we do so, I'll just remind you that most of the functionality I'm going to show you is exactly the same in desktop. There are a few differences in the menu systems, but I can show you those quickly. Basically, it's the same application. It's just running on the internet. So the first thing I'm going to show you is probably the most fun. On the side here, you'll have seen that there is an activities menu. And if you click on it, it gives you a list of all the automated stuff you can do with Frontline. Many people just use Frontline to receive and send messages. Some people, though, want to be able to reply automatically, to poll people, to allow people to choose to join groups of contacts, to connect to web services like CrowdMap and do Shahidi, to automatically forward incoming SMS to other people. And this custom activity builder here allows you to do many different things, stacked one on top of the other. For now, I'm just going to show you how to set up an auto reply. It's one of the simpler activities, and from there you'll see most of what you need to know to be able to set up your own activities. When an SMS comes in, or when an SMS comes in with a particular keyword at the beginning, the system will send an automated reply. So this is useful just to say thank you for your message, or you might want to, for example, allow people to request a certain item of information. So imagine that you are running a community library. You might want to offer people the chance to check your opening hours using an auto reply. So they might text in something like open or hours or info. And then you would set up the auto reply message. So I'm going to set up the message to say our opening hours are, and then let's imagine that I've written a very detailed and helpful message. And this is the familiar character count here. Just to show you the expressions, here we can allow you to put in the number of the person who's messaged you, or their name, the message text that they sent you, or the message text and the keyword that's being responded to. So here I'm going to change this to say, hi, so-and-so, our opening hours are. So that's the message I've set up. And it just tells you that this character count now is no longer accurate because the character count depends on how long the recipient name is. So if you click next, this slightly confusing screen is where you set up the keyword, and you have three options. One is to automatically process responses containing a keyword. One is not to use a keyword at all, and if you select this, you'll see all incoming messages that do not match any other keywords will trigger this activity. So that's a potentially expensive option because anyone texting you will be triggering a message from your system. So think carefully before implementing that. Or you can choose not to automatically sort messages, and I'll show you why later. So for now, let's choose processing using a keyword, and we're going to enter the keyword. I think I'll use hours. So enter the word there. You can see that here you can enter multiple keywords separated by commas. This is useful if, for example, you think people might spell it differently, or you want to do different languages. So here I'll include the French. So click next to continue. This screen will confirm the hours and the messages, the keywords and the messages that will be sent out, and you can give it a name. So I'm going to call it opening hours. So click save, and you'll see that there is a confirm screen saying, yep, your auto reply has been saved. Click OK, and it will open the activity. So this is a slightly different screen than you've seen before. It's basically like the inbox, but at the top there you'll see it also confirms what's going on in the activity, and it allows you to archive the whole activity, put that away in the archive so you don't have to look at it in the left-hand bar anymore. You can export all the message data included, and I'll show you that later also. You can rename it, you can delete it, and you can edit it using these drop-downs. So we'll see if we get any messages with that keyword in it. For now, I'm going to show you one or two other activities that you can create using Frontline Cloud. So next we're going to look at some activities that I set up earlier. I set up two. One is a simple poll, and another is a subscription activity. So let's look at the subscription activity first. This one is an activity to allow members of our team here at SimLab to join a group for staff members. So I think in maybe the first walkthrough we created the group called Staff, and this one actually allows members of staff to manage that themselves. So here you can see we're in the activity and it has 5 new messages. So what you're looking at, and if I just show you how the subscription is set up, first of all you select the group that you want and you have the opportunity to create a group there. You set your keywords, and here there are 2 levels because you need one for the joining action and one for the leaving action. So the top level's keyword is staff and the other is join or leave. We've set it to sort responses automatically. This one doesn't allow you to respond to all incoming messages because it does need the keywords to work on this kind of activity. And then we're saying that if you receive the message staff with no keyword, the contact will just be added to the group as default. And then we've set some auto replies. So this is quite similar to the one we just set, except that there's a different one for joining and a different one for leaving. And you can see that here I've said, welcome to the team when you join. And if you try and leave the group, obviously I'll get very cross because I don't want our team to leave the group. And then this screen allows you to confirm all the settings you've created and create the activity. So when you create it, then people are free to send in messages. And you can see here that all of our people have sent in these messages. The ones between the apostrophes are the actual content of the message that was sent in. And the ones that aren't in bold that you can see there are my replies. So we can see that no one has tried to leave SimLab, which is very smart. Now, I don't know if you spotted, but if you go into the inbox, you'll see that I sent a message without the staff keyword. So it just went into the inbox. Well, that doesn't mean that it's wasted. So what we can do is we can go to select the message and move it into the team activity. And then it will give you an option to choose what to do with it. So you can either add the sender to the staff message. Well, that's probably not what this person wanted to do, probably wanted to leave. So we'll remove the sender from the staff group. And toggling, by the way, just does the reverse to what the current setting is. So I believe I'm already in the staff group, so toggling it would remove me from it. So I'm just going to click OK and remove this contact from the group. So let's go back and look at the activity. So you'll see that a message has been created because I've moved this message into the leave message has moved, this is the starred one here, has moved into this activity. It's created an auto reply according to the one that I had set. So once you've moved a message into an activity that triggers an action, then any auto reply that was set to be triggered will happen. And the buzzing noises that you might have been able to hear were me receiving these messages. The other thing that's just happened is you'll see that we've got a reply on the opening hours message. That was me. So you'll see that my message hours is here and here is the reply. And I can tell you that this says, "Hi Laura, our opening hours are" on my phone. The other thing just to note is that the incoming messages that trigger keywords have been moved into the relevant activities. So all the team join text messages are in here. They're not in received SMS. And the reason for that is we wanted to leave the inbox as clear as possible. So anything that's automatically dealt with goes into the activity, and anything that is just received and needs some kind of action stays in the received box. So let's just go and have a look at this group. And you'll see that there is everybody in the group, and I'm not there anymore because I have actioned the leave action. So just to show you then polls, which is the final thing, I'm a fan of Southampton Football Club. That's where I grew up. Southampton is in the south of England, for those who don't know. And we're doing rather well this year, currently second in the English Premier League table. So my question, and again, I'll show you how to set this up by just editing the poll here. You go through and you can choose a yes or no or a multiple choice question. Here is the opportunity to set the question itself. You do have the option to not send a message for this poll. If you're announcing the question on the radio, or you're putting it up on posters, or you're basically any situation where you're not sending an SMS to a bunch of people to ask them to reply, you don't need to send a message. If you do, it's just the standard message sending dialogue. So we're going to click next. This screen gives you the opportunity to set the question. So you can see that my question was, are Southampton Football Club going to finish in the top 5 of the English Premier League this season? And the options are yes, maybe, probably not, and no chance. And then again, we've got keywords. Now here you can see that for the yes answer, I've spelled it several different ways. And then there's an auto reply, which I've set up. And this auto reply says, thank you for your response. The correct answer was yes. So this screen confirms. I'm just going to cancel out of that and we can go and look at the results. So you can see here that at the top, there is a table that shows you the answers. I'm very happy to say that the team are very correct. This also is an interesting lesson about the perils of crowdsourced data. It is very possible for one person to text in multiple times and throw your poll. And that's what's happened here. But I think it's the right result, so maybe that's not so bad. If you click on the Show Graph button, that's a very useful graph. It's live updating. It was built for radio DJs. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the archive. So if you click on the archive, you'll see a list of all the messages that I didn't feel I wanted in the inbox anymore. This means that I've not deleted them. I can still see what they are, but they don't have to clutter up my interactions tabs. Similarly, there's a sent archive, an archive for activities that have been created in the past, and an archive for folders that we don't want anymore. In the Contacts tab, the other thing that you might have spotted was an Import Contacts button. So I'm just going to show you that quickly. If you click on the Import Contacts button, you'll see that you have the option to import CSV formatted contacts, vCards, or incoming messages, for example, from another version of FrontlineSMS Desktop, or perhaps from FrontlineSMS Desktop version 1. So here I'm going to choose CSV contacts, and I'm going to choose a file, which is going to be this one. And here you'll see that you're given the opportunity to review the contact import that you have just done. So we're going to import all the contacts, and there they are. So that's done. You can also export all contacts in quite a similar way. So if you go to all contacts, you can see the export button there. And it gives you again the option to use a CSV, a PDF, or a vCard format. The search tab is one we haven't looked at yet. Let's see what we can find. So I'm going to look at messages that say yes. These are all the messages in the system that have the word yes in them. You have the option to export any list of messages, including search results. One note of caution is that at the moment, missed calls do not show up in searches. So we're working on that also. You can also restrict it to between certain dates. So for example, between the 1st of October and the 31st of October. And these are all the messages that were received between those two timeframes. Other options include all the custom fields that you've created and the contact name so that you can isolate it by contact. You can also limit the search to a certain group. So let's see all the staff who said yes. Or all the activities. And you can also limit it to only received messages. So the final thing to show you is where to get help and how to use the settings. If you click on the Help tab at the top right, it'll take you to a new site, which is our support base. I've shown you this before, but here it has a very good search, so you can search for the article you're looking for. We have frequently asked questions and separate sections for cloud and desktop help. You can also submit a request if you don't see the answer to your question here. We'll get back to you within a day. If you click on the feedback button, it'll give you the opportunity to tell us what you think of the software. We'll reply to you by email as soon as possible. If you click on Manage Account, you'll see that there is a settings menu here. On desktop, this looks slightly different, but most of the same options are available. So you can edit your profile, change your password and your time zone and your default language here. You can import and export contacts here as well. In Cloud, you can change your billing settings. You can check your usage statistics so you can see how many SMS have been sent and received on this system. This is where you'll find your log, and this is the change log. This is the list of changes that have been made to the software. So if something's acting differently, you can see when we last updated the software and find out what we're up to. So I'm just opening up FrontlineSMS, the desktop application, so I can show you how the settings pages differ slightly. So here at the top right, you'll see there is just the settings tab. If you click on that, rather than being a drop down, it takes you straight into the interface. And here you have very similar settings, so you can change the language, you can change the location of the database on your computer. This basic authentication setting allows you to set a local password. The Import and Export tab allows you to import contacts and messages and export data from the workspace. It's quite similar to the one in Cloud. In usage statistics, you'll see the same thing as in Cloud, the number of messages that you've sent and received. And the system logs, again, show what's been happening. So if we ever ask you to send them to us, you need to download them here. And that's it. You've now been through all the functionality in FrontlineSMS and Frontline Cloud. Next week will be a very exciting preview of the new version of FrontlineSMS and Frontline Cloud, which is due out in December. Until then, why not try setting up an auto reply and posting your experiences on the module forum? Thanks for listening and watching.